Hey, I'm William Underwood III, a musician and from Detroit, Michigan. I recently relocated to San Francisco about a year and 2 months ago now. In terms of style, I've always been attracted to presenting myself well, and what you wear is very important. It definitely says something about you before you look it up. Fortunately, I come from a pretty stylish family. My parents are pretty stylish, so I got it naturally. I don't think I had to work very hard to look good. I think I'm really just continuing what my parents have instilled in me. But I'm coming from Detroit, it also seems my wardrobe, I was pretty ready for San Francisco, honestly. And it's a little bit easier. I don't have to have big, heavy nice jackets, which is very nice. So I feel like most of the time I get to dress for spring or fall. Maybe I have to be ready for the rain. I wasn't ready for the rain, so I did have to get a raincoat. But my wardrobe didn't have to change very much coming from Detroit and moving from Detroit to San Francisco. Pretty cool.
And so now that you're in San Francisco, how have you adapted the way you would wear things if you were in Detroit to San Francisco?
Definitely. So I never really understood, you see people wearing like shorts with shorts with a jacket or something. Like yesterday, the other day, just last week, I found myself wearing sneakers, shorts, t-shirts, and footbeds. And it was perfect for the weather that you have here because it's like, wow, it's so nice outside. There isn't breeze, but there's a little bit of chill. I want to enjoy the weather. I want my body wear pants and it's like still cool outside. You know, like a tank top or something. Or if you put on your shorts, you can put on a hoodie or a short sleeve shirt and a vest. So that's something I've definitely adapted to coming out here. I think that's actually pretty cool. It's not something I've been able to experience like in other places, but here, shorts and a hoodie, good for the beach too.
And as you were like paring down to the essentials, how did you plan for the size of the closets in San Francisco? Was that a consideration to also how much you could fit aside from just putting it in your suitcase? Or was it also just trying to make the most of what you could, if you could squeeze everything into a suitcase to the itty bitty last drop?
I didn't have to squeeze things into the itty bitty last drop because I had already done like this consolidation of what I was going to bring. And it was really more like, okay, let's pick out what I want and let's see what fits in the suitcase. Most of it fit. So, no, I didn't really consider the size of the closets, although before I moved, I did take some time to really look at a lot of places. I looked at a lot of places to live because I found out that the housing market here, it moves really fast and it was hard like to find a place that had a nice price, also a nice size in the apartment. I was like, I'll figure out the closet or the storage thing. But really, I was like, I'm only gonna take one suitcase. I think that was my parameter. One suitcase, one duffel bag, one backpack. That's it.
That's pretty impressive, especially because you didn't squeeze it to the very last drop.
I had to pay. It was overweight, but it wasn't like on it, trying to zip it up. It was just like, it's in there.
Now that you've been here for a year and a few months, how's your style adapted to the lifestyle of San Francisco and maybe the people, either at work or in your day-to-day?
Style in comparison to what the weather brings here, I learned very early to always have a jacket. No matter how warm it is in the morning or in the afternoon, the evening is probably going to bite you if you don't have a jacket. So I think that's the biggest thing I learned, like I always have a jacket. But now the weather, this time last year was much cooler already. It's still relatively warm in California in comparison to like the East Coast. The East Coast is cold right now. They are freezing. And like Montana too. But learned early on to bring jacket. But this time of year, it was cooler last year. But now you can wear your jacket. Like I'm wearing a turtleneck and a jacket and I'm like comfortable. I'm not too warm. If I do too much moving, I'll be too warm. But I like this time of year because you can dress like it's fall, sweater weather.
Has the lifestyle of San Francisco impacted you at all with compared to how you dress?
Not really. I don't know that a place will influence what I want to put on my body. I think that I may see, if I'm in like New York, which is like a really big fashion place, or like Paris, London. San Francisco is one of these huge cities too, but those places, I think you see more exotic fashion. I don't know that I see lots of exotic fashion here, or big risk takers. Oh, I do see some really stylish people from time to time, especially when I'm going toward Union Square. Sometimes in Fidei too, but toward Union Square, you do catch all the stylish people going into the boutiques or into the mall. And you do see lots of people that are traveling here. Yes. I think most prevalent, I've seen the French fashion. You can always tell. I don't know if it's bad to say, but you see them wearing blue and white, and then they do the French tuck in the front. And the style is just very fresh, free, with chic, put together, simplistic. But just San Francisco, I don't know that San Francisco has influenced what I like to wear versus what I need to wear for the weather.
So has San Francisco's very casual tech culture, and as a byproduct, the athleisure look hasn't really influenced you at all in your style?
Because I work a job where I have to present in some sort of professional manner, I haven't really been able to tap into the athleisure wear. I do love a sneaker with a suit. I think that's always been, that's something I've done before I moved here. Like a sneaker with a suit, or like a t-shirt with a blazer, dress pants with a polo like tucked out, or just, I think some of those things have been a part of like my fashion glossary already though.
You haven't gone down the Patagonia route yet.
No, I did have a really cool Columbia fleece.
What made it cool?
The pattern. It was like purple with this abstract tan, cream, black, like just zigzags straight.
It's really interesting what you said earlier about how it's rare for a place to influence your style.
At this age too, I think that I'm just at this point where I know what I like, and I know what I want to look like. Now, of course, you go places and you see cool, oh, that's cool, oh, that's cool, this is cool, this is cool. You may put those things in your style, but I don't know that there's like a style that I've seen here that I'm like, oh, I need to be dressing like that. But I do know, like you're saying, athleisure is really big here. I do see people wearing the athleisure, and it is a place where you want to just be like comfortable all the time because it's so beautiful. But I don't have that life. I have to go to a brick and mortar from 10 to 6, and I'm working with people where you need to look like you can talk about whatever you're selling to people or helping people with. I can't go to work in like jogging pants and t-shirt and sneakers, which it would be nice too, but I do have to dress up. But like I have on my days off, well, like today's my day off and I'm dressed, but I'm doing some things. But yeah, I'll just put on a t-shirt and like some jogging pants, but I think that's just normal for wherever you are in the world. Like on your day off, you want to be comfy.
How did you find your style? How did you discover it? How did you get to a place where you're really comfortable, like you said, you know what you like, and you didn't feel like being in a new destination could shift that completely?
Discovery for sure. I used to do a lot of vintage shopping, and I still, to this day, I explore both the men's section and the women's section, especially in these days when silhouettes have changed so much. And often I found that sometimes getting women's jeans or women's pants can fit me so much better because for some reason they just make them longer, especially when they do like boyfriend cuts or something like this in the women's section. I do enjoy that. So that I still have a couple of pairs of pants now too that have come from the women's section. I don't know that you would know if I put them on. I don't think you'd be able to tell. I can't tell. When I was earlier in my 20s, lots of exploration with vintage shopping and just looking crazy too. Like you.
No, I can't imagine that. I can't imagine that. Every time I see you, it's very classic French. It's very a nice jacket, a nice shirt, or like a turtleneck like you're wearing today, or a nice sweater like the black one that I saw you wore.
I switch it up too. So like, you see me when I'm on the clock and I am looking like a pro, but I switch gears often. I do really like urban style too. I like baggy clothes. I love cargo pants. You haven't seen me in cargos. I love cargos. I love a wide fit pant, like a long, just dragging the ground look too. So I can get a bit grungy, but I think with my style, there's always this tailored aspect to it. Something has to look solid. I think also silhouette is important and proportion. My not as big as my legs. My legs are very long. My torso, not short, but it's more compact than my legs. Framing that is important, however you do that. Sometimes if I wear like a big flannel that comes down to here just above my thigh, sometimes I'll put on a higher waisted pant just so that it looks a bit balanced. But finding my style, parents who were stylish and they would dress me, I think it's a continuation of that, like seeing photos of myself and seeing photos of my grandmother, who was also a very fly woman. I just grew up looking at people taking really good care of themselves, which I think is important to my culture. And I think it's also a necessity of my culture too. It wasn't always easy for Black people and then African Americans. And when you go into these spaces, sometimes you do have to give 110, 20, 200%. And that trickles down to the way you show up too. Like you can't show up somewhere looking crazy. You can show up looking crazy, like it's out the door immediately, because from your appearance, it looks like you're not taking this seriously. And I'm just saying this from the African American perspective because I am African American, but I think that goes across the board. If you work in one of these financial institutions down here and you show up with a big stain on your white shirt, like, bro, what? Sometimes things happen. Like your suit is like wrinkled here, and your shirt is all jumbled up, and your ties, you look disheveled. People will often assume the work is gonna also be disheveled. I am continuing what has been instilled in me, number one. Two, I have done exploration with all sorts of fashions and had phases here and phases there. And then finding out, you asked me what helped me solidify how I wanna look. I think how I wanna feel, and thinking about, you put something on, you're like, okay, I feel comfortable and I feel confident. So putting on things that bring out the confidence in you, I think that's important. So whatever I'm wearing, do I feel like I can be 100% myself? So I saw that at home, and then going to college and seeing girls be so creative, like young women just really creative with their fashion. So wearing things backwards, repurposing tops, cutting dresses, women cutting their wedding dresses and making it into a dress that they can put into their like daily wardrobe or something like this. I would say largely women, and just seeing how useful they make the things that they love in their closets. And I've cut shorts or cut jeans before too. So this isn't something I took to the tailor, but those jeans, I think that happened specifically because I was looking for a short that came down here, and I was like, I couldn't find anything that I liked to purchase. So I was like, wait a minute, I have a pair of jeans that I was gonna give away. I can just make them into shorts. So I was like, I went home, I looked at them, I was like, okay, let's do it. So I just put them on me, and I'm like, all right here. Took the scissors, and then I frayed the edge a little bit so you get a little of this unhinged look.